Today I'm just about to change the front wheel bearing of my Discovery 3. So I discovered there's a bit of play. I didn't do the video of the one with the wheels on, but as you can see there's still a bit of play on it. I've taken the brake rotor off. So now I need to use my screwdriver to just tap around there to make it straight and more round. Then I'll use the 32mm socket to undo that. So for that I have to use that 750mm breaker bar, I think, at least, because that would have at least 350 Newton meter of torque on it. And as you can see, there's a bit of it's hard to play with one hand, but there's a bit of play there. And then I just literally had to jump on the top of this breaker bar to open it, so I've undone it. And after this I'll be undoing those 4 bolts at the back and try and wiggle this out. I think there's going to be a bit of a hammering involved as well. So I've taken all 4 bolts off and I'm just hammering the axle back into the spline. That should sort of try and loosen it a bit, hopefully. So after I just hammered it in, it was just easy to pull it out, so I've done that. So you can see the spline there. So that's the old hub, and as you can hear, that's the noise. So the bearing is gone. It's gone pretty bad actually, and hence I can still feel at least a couple of millimeters movement. So this is the new one. Yeah, see the difference? No noise. It's smooth, snug fit. So I guess it was well worth the money and time. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some anti-seize on the spline here and put these bearings back on. Okay, so you just got to line up the 4 bolts. So you got these 2 are close to each other, and then these 2 are further apart. So you just want to make sure you do that. You got to put some more up. I'll put some copper grease there. I'll put some more around here as well. Yep, so I'll put some more anti-seize there, copper anti-seize, and I'm just gonna have to line it up and make sure that lines up, which I think it does. And then you don't have to worry about getting the bearing in. It's just as long as you tighten the bolt. The torque spec is 115 Newton meter. As long as you do that, it'll sit in place. So the front one is fairly easier than the rear one, because for the rear one I think it involves taking it to the press machine and pressing the bearings and stuff out. So it's it's a bit just have to wobble around and try and get them in. And the rusts, the reason I'm struggling is because the bolts have a lot of rust on it. Maybe I should have cleaned it up before. I think that's what I'll do. I'll take them off and I'll just brush them off with the steel wire. So now I've got all 4 bolt torqued. I'll just tighten. I'll just torque it to the spec of 150 Newton meter. I'll slowly torque them all. So I'm tightening the last bolt to 150 Newton meter. Yeah, there you go. So that was the hardest part. All done. Now I'll be so now I'm happy with the settings. I'm gonna put some more anti-seize on this bit and most important, which I almost forgot, was to put this axle nut. So this has to be bolted to, I think the factory says 350 Newton meter, but the other specs are saying 250, so I'm going to take it up to 340 Newton meter. That's the maximum range of my torque range anyway. I saw someone online putting a leverage here using a maximum. I think it was a good idea to transform your load more perpendicular to the axle. So yeah, I'm going to do it that way. Got myself 340, and that'll do. So there's a little notch there on the axle bolt where I gotta just give it a few punch just to bend it in there so it doesn't spin. It's like it's like a locking mechanism. It's not working. I'm trying to use the other heavy stuff. Anyway, I'll work something out. So I'll put this anti-seize grease on the base of this, on the contact surface of this new bearing. Then I'll put the disc back on, then the wheels, and I might take it for a test drive as well afterwards. So yeah, this was my first wheel bearing change. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but the rear one I'm sure will be a difficult one because it involves getting the bearings out using the press machine and all that, and I don't intend to do that anytime soon. They seem fine so far, and yeah, that is all.